I've said this before and I'll say it again. It is very rare for a trilogy, especially, where each film is better than the last. Not many trilogies out there can say that they've done that, but there are some. For example, the Captain America franchise is one of those trilogies, in my opinion, where each film does get better than the last. Captain America: The First Avenger was good, Captain America: Winter Soldier was great, and Captain America: Civil War, at least in my opinion, was incredible. So now we have the Planet of the Apes franchise. The third and possibly final installment. How does it stack up? Is it better than the last? Is this a fantastic trilogy or is it a flop? You're gonna find out now. This is YGB7 and this is my review for War for the Planet of the Apes.
I'ma wait till the beat go in.
Now, a lot of what makes this Planet of the Apes franchise so intriguing and so honestly incredible is just of how it looks. I am incredibly impressed with how the CGI looks, especially in this movie compared to its predecessors, which I also thought looked amazing. The CG work here is terrific. Everything looks realistic, everything looks sharp, crisp, as if you're there, as if it actually is real, and that is definitely a huge plus. It's a huge draw to what makes these movies so mesmerizing. Another part that has to do with that, and a pretty big part of that too, are the performances. And of course, Andy Serkis once again brings it as Caesar. This is the most that we've ever seen Caesar actually do in a movie or say, and Andy Serkis delivers on all fronts. This man is honestly one of the most underrated actors in cinema today, possibly of all time. He just doesn't get enough credit for what he does, for the work that he puts into these roles, specifically this one. The way he moves, the way he looks, the way he talks. He puts everything in such detail that it honestly is mesmerizing. His work here is powerful. He just does a phenomenal job. Andy Serkis, you killed it, my man. Performances across the board were really good, and which was surprising because there are new characters that are introduced, there are new apes that are introduced that we saw in the trailers that I was a little bit like, I'm not really sure how that's gonna go. But they pulled it off and everyone did a terrific job and I'm very happy for that. The one thing that really surprised me about this movie is just the direction that it takes. This film goes in a completely different direction from the last film, its predecessor, which was Dawn for the Planet of the Apes. In its predecessor, a lot of action was going down, and with a title like War for the Planet of the Apes, you would think that all that action would carry over here. And to some extent, it does. There's plenty of action scenes to go around here, and they are really, really great. However, this film still does take a step back in action in order to take a step forward with emotion, and that's what I like the most. Granted, yes, the film does lower the amount of action scenes, but in return, it does bring more emotional scenes, and that really worked for me. And when these scenes show up, they hit you where you live. I was tearing up, I'm not even gonna lie. Matt Reeves, just like with his predecessor, did a terrific job directing this film. I think he did a terrific job at really exploiting the grit. It still has the same darker tones as the predecessor, and that I'm very thankful that they kept. There are some pretty funny scenes in here too, which I was surprised. Essentially, I would consider this film a masterpiece. Reason being, there's just so much craft that goes in here. Not only in the performances, but in the CG, in the writing, in order to make it as enthralling as it was. The film floored me from beginning to end. There was not a dull moment for me. There is less action, yes, but for me, that wasn't an issue at all. That didn't hinder the film in any way for me. With less action, you'll expect that the pacing will slow down. And that's true, the pacing does slow down a little bit in this film, but for me that wasn't a problem because within that pacing there was still a lot of substance in there. That's the thing that a lot of films just don't get right. When films slow down, when they want to slow down, they just don't have enough substance for it to actually mean anything. At the end of the day, War for the Planet of the Apes, in my opinion, was essentially a masterpiece. Everything worked here, just by the way it looked, the performances, the writing, the directing, the cinematography, even the sound editing was great, the music, the score, whew, it was nice. When you put all that together, you get essentially a terrific ending to what has been an amazing trilogy. Honestly, one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Each film gets better than the last, and if you haven't seen any of these movies, you really should check them out. They're really something else. If you've seen the first two movies and for whatever reason you weren't a fan of them, then you're not gonna like the third one. Trust me on this one. But if you want to give these films a chance, if you haven't yet, really check them out. See the first two and then watch War for the Planet of the Apes so you'll get the most out of it. I think it's pretty obvious at this point, but War for the Planet of the Apes does get the YGB7 stamp of approval. So guys, that takes care of my review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see in here and you want to see more, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. That would mean a whole lot. Plus, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. That'd also be very appreciated. So now that I finally saw War for the Planet of the Apes, all I want to do next is see Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's next film, and then I will release my top 10 movies of 2017 so far. Like I said, I just want to get Dunkirk off the bucket list before that, and then you'll get that video. So, until then, this is YGB7, and I will see you guys in the next video.